Welcome to Game of Books with Cathi in South Dakota.
That's me, and Christy in South Florida.
That's me. We're two newbie writers sharing our take on wine, food, and mystery books.
And the authors who write them. Join us for the fun.
Hey, Cathi, and all you mysterious foodies. I'm trying not to rub it in, but it's another warm and sunny day in Fort Lauderdale.
And you're not rubbing that in.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Well, and this year though, this will make it even worse. This year we have an extra day because it's a leap year. So even though this is coming out on the 28th, there's still another February day tomorrow.
Well, I'm very happy for you that you're having a lovely grouping of weather.
Yes.
It's very cold and snowy here, and it is beautiful. So,
Aww.
But it is not warm.
Well, I'm excited to go up there and see the cold and snow anyway.
I am too. I'm very excited for you. I hope we have tons and tons of snow, but not too frigid of temperatures when you're here. We'll see.
And we should say real quick a happy birthday to anybody whose birthday is tomorrow because they hardly ever get to hear it.
Right? Happy birthday, leap year babies.
I know. My dad was born on March 1st, but I don't think it was a leap year. But he always makes a joke like, oh, I just missed I wouldn't be this old if I didn't. Whatever.
Was he in, do you know what year it was?
I do know what year, but I don't think it was a leap year. I think I looked it up.
So it's not divisible by 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be divisible by 4.
It was 1939, yeah. So.
But oddly, not divisible by 100, I believe. If it's like a 1900, they don't do it.
Okay.
It's really weird. Anyway,
okay.
It's a whole other story. Okay.
So anyway, this week we are pairing food and wine with The Empty Bed by Nina Sadowsky.
Okay, I really liked this book, and I cannot wait to talk to her next week. I remember so distinctly last year when you and I were at Thriller Fest, and you had gone to a panel that she was on, and I didn't go. I went to a different session, and you came back raving about her, and so I'm so excited about it.
I know, me too. I got to tell you, she made quite the impression. I mean, she's really funny. She had us all laughing, but she's very inspiring at the same time. And she's been in Hollywood. She's been a producer. She's got such knowledge in that area, and now in writing, and she was screenwriting. So it's just kind of fun to hear her talk and give all kinds of interesting insight. That's all I can say. So I'm looking forward to it as well.
Well, I am too. So, but let's get started for today. Emptying. I'm thinking about the book.
Emptying that bottle.
Yeah. Let's get started today pairing The Empty Bed with food and wine.
Okay. This week we are going to leave the grapes behind and enter the world of rice wine.
Oh my gosh, I don't know. Okay.
Yeah. Well, today's wine is TYKU Sake. Are you a sake drinker? I've never even asked you that, have I?
I have never drank sake in my life.
Oh my gosh, you're kidding me.
No, I'm not. I am not.
Wow. So this is
I am pretty linear in what I like to drink, apparently. I'm just realizing that. Yeah, no, I've never drank sake.
Well, it's probably not, real common in South Dakota.
Okay, I take that back.
Oh. Yeah.
No, I take that back. I went out for lunch with a classmate. I'm just remembering this in law school, and he took us to his favorite sake restaurant to kind of educate us. Mm-hmm. And he was Japanese, and I did try sake then.
Okay, but you don't remember. That was a long time ago.
Because the sake was very good and we drank a lot of it. No.
Okay, so you can try a sip of this. This is TYKU Sake. And it has a really, really cool looking bottle. I mean,
it's a beautiful bottle.
Yeah, the regular sake that has been in like the grocery stores for years is not as good. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to say because I'm not an expert either, but I have drank sake many times in restaurants, and I usually get hot sake.
I didn't know that was a thing.
So you can have sake hot or cold, yes. And I didn't realize until researching for this, but the hot sake is usually the lower quality. So it kind of masks it. But I really like hot sake because it's kind of like you're sipping, and they put it in little tiny ceramic glasses, and you just sip it, and it's warm, and it's good to me. I like it. But this time I got this premium sake.
Okay.
So on their website, it tells you, contrary to popular belief, premium sake should be served chilled. So that's what I did. Like a white wine. For best taste, refrigerate after opening and enjoy soon thereafter. Although sake is typically enjoyed with sushi, it pairs well with a wide variety of cuisines like steak, roasted chicken, seafood, and grilled vegetables. So it's such a mild drink. And the thing about it too, in this sake in particular, but most sakes, it only has 4 ingredients, and they're all natural. And it's gluten-free, contains no sulfites, tannins, additives, or preservatives.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's just rice. I think it's like a yeast, water, but lead-free water. I mean, it's supposed to be really, really good for you. It's still 12 to 15% like wine and everything. And it's a wine from fermented rice. Mm-hmm. So I do know I have a friend who she still drinks wine, but she does have more trouble with regular wine than sake. When she drinks sake, she doesn't have as many, I guess, allergic reaction type things.
Like
or
the sulfates and
it must be. Yeah. It's just it's so smooth. What do you think? I think it's good. It's not sweet at all.
No, I like that because I, for some reason, had an idea that it would be sweet, and I don't care for that. But it's very nice. It's very easy to drink. It's very nice. It's very refreshing.
Yeah,
cold.
It's not like a plum wine, and I do like it cold.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna think about cold sake from now on when I go to a Chinese restaurant. So I did choose this wine because in The Empty Bed, they spend some time in Hong Kong.
Yeah, they spend a lot of time in Hong Kong. Yeah.
Right. So I thought, well, what better theme to have for a book club would be sake and dim sum.
Oh, fun. Very fun.
Yeah.
And so are you making the dim sum?
No. Yeah. Now, and so dim sum is everybody a lot of times thinks it's just the dumplings, but it's not. It's like small plates. They come, and I went one time into Chinatown in New York with my nephew who speaks Chinese, although he was pretty shy about the whole thing, and I did not eat the chicken feet.
Ugh.
But that's like one thing that's on there. He did. I was like, good for you.
Good for him.
Yeah. It's a lot of people like it, but I just wasn't going to go there that day. But it's it's the dumplings, which, I really like. And there's all kinds of different kinds of ball things that have,
As well, spit out my sake. Okay.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
But yeah, so what you could do is just basically go to any Chinese restaurant and get a variety of appetizers.
Yeah.
You could get some, they always have different types of dumplings. There is one restaurant down here that's actually called Hong Kong Dim Sum.
That's funny.
So you could get to go from that, or they actually sell the frozen of many of the items that you could cook at home. So you could do it both ways. But basically, I would say get a bunch of Chinese appetizers.
Yeah.
Get a poo-poo platter if you want to go all American on that. And have you ever had a poo-poo platter?
I just was going to say, I'm sorry, what? I don't think I know what a poo-poo platter is. I don't think I've seen that on the Chinese menus.
It's usually it's usually on the Chinese menus. It's sort of a Hawaiian American version of Chinese.
Oh, really?
Appetizer, and it's just a variety.
Mm-hmm.
Like they might have the ribs, maybe wings, the dumplings. What else do they have? These are some of the things that they have are like tastes. I don't know what that means. I didn't know what I was eating when I was in Chinatown, honestly. I kept asking my nephew, I'm like, what is this? And he's like, well, it's like, some sausage. And I'm like, okay, I'll eat it, whatever. And it was all good. It was all good. But I think that would be a fun thing to have because, again, we like the finger food. So you can put a bunch of little different things on your plate and be satisfied and then talk about Hong Kong.
Well, and what I like about that is I like, honestly, for those of us who are hosting a book club, we're busy. It's a lot, right, to host people at your house. I mean, it's a lot just to get ready. Like, get the house in order, get the, notes for your book, right? Run all the errands. And so I think suggesting to people that they go get some takeout for the food is a great idea.
I know. Everybody could bring like a different thing too if they wanted.
That's true.
And you could throw in some fried rice and stuff if you want a little bit of.
I love that.
Or some noodles. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so on to the book and the author. I am very excited to talk about Nina Sadowsky, and I'm very excited we get to talk to her next week in the Quirks and Conversation. Yeah. So Nina is a very accomplished and impressive woman, aside from the novels that she has written. This is her third published book. Her fourth comes out in August. Right. She's really, got this great publishing career going, but she also is a film writer and producer. And she has done a lot of things people have heard about. She was the executive producer on The Wedding Planner with Jennifer Lopez.
That was a great movie.
It was, and that was a great movie.
And it's on like every weekend.
It is, especially right now with J-Lo everywhere.
We should ask her, does she get royalties every time it's on TV?
That would be great to ask her. We'll have to do that. And so she's been in the Hollywood world, writing, producing. She was the person who was working with Meg Ryan. She was president, actually, of Meg Ryan's production company for a while.
Cool.
Yeah, just really interesting. And she teaches a lot about screenwriting to other screenwriters. So she knows of the writing world, right? And so I'm very excited to talk to her about the transition from screenwriting to novel writing and what made her want to do that leap. I think that'll be really fun. Yeah, I'm very excited about that. So anyway, this book, The Empty Bed, is the second. It's her third book out, but it's the second in a series. Her second book that she published was The Burial Society. That sounds weird. Burial? Burial.
I think you say burial.
Burial Society.
It's written burial.
I know. I just looked at the word and I thought that doesn't sound right. Where she it's
what you do with dead things.
Yes. And in that book, she came up with this great concept, and this is the second one in that series. But the idea is there's this woman named Catherine, no last name, who basically has created a private witness protection program. And will go and take people out of horrible situations and, give them a new life. And so in this book, it's kind of so there's multiple different plots going on because she's doing her work, right? Helping people. But the main one is this woman named Eva and her husband Peter. This woman starts thinking she's being followed. She lives in London. She and her husband go to Hong Kong, as you've mentioned, and she starts thinking she's being followed, and she disappears.
Which is a creepy feeling.
It's horrible, isn't it? And
I know. Anyway,
while she's in Hong Kong, this woman goes missing, and the husband becomes the suspect, and it's this kind of wild chase around Hong Kong, so Catherine sends her team in, who normally relocate people. They're searching for somebody this time, so kind of opposite. And it's like a Jason Bourne movie, right? Like all over, just car chases and this and that. It's a really wild ride. That is The Empty Bed, We'll try
Yes.
very carefully not to give anything away.
Yes, we did really well, but I can tell you that we're probably going to be able to see it on TV or in a movie, don't you think?
Well, yeah.
Burial Society has already been bought for a TV show.
Yes.
So
I
this will
believe
probably
so.
be the next season.
Writer's perspective.
Today, we want to discuss a topic that made me curious when I talked about leap year birthdays. And I know, and that's what is referred to as book birthdays.
What?
Yes.
Okay, when you said, let's talk about book birthdays on the podcast, I really didn't know this was a thing. You know, I mean, I've heard of publication dates and publication, but I didn't know book birthdays was the actual name. And so it's just one more little tidbit that I'm adding to my knowledge base.
Yeah, there you go. Well, listen, I understand what you're saying, because when I first heard it, I was like kind of the same way. But I believe the planner that you are, that you're going to add this to a goal list or something, because it's actually a thing in the publishing industry.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's not as bad as you would think. You don't have to try to remember the date your book was published or the date your friend's book was published for year after year after year, which would be crazy.
Yeah.
It's just referring to the actual day that it's published. So when it's released, not published, I guess.
Right.
Is that how you say it? Yeah, released. So in other words, on your release day, you're allowed to have a big old party.
Well, that
everybody's
goes without saying, right? I mean, for sure.
Right. So that's the name of it, the book birthday. But it also, it was interesting because when we researched it, we found that it is usually on Tuesdays.
Yeah, books are released on Tuesdays. Yep.
Did you already know that?
I did know that, actually, and I don't know why, but I did know.
Because you're a good reader and you wanted to get that book right when it came out. So you'd go to the bookstore on Tuesday like you should, but I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
because
publication dates are on Tuesdays, traditionally, and I'm not sure why. I'd be very curious to ask somebody in the publishing industry why that is.
I think there's a lot of different reasons from what I looked up. I was like, one, they said, well, the distribution costs were lower
on Tuesdays.
If you just mail everything in the same time. So you're not like mailing different things every day. I don't know. And then the other thing is Tuesday are notoriously maybe slow shopping days. So they wanted to bring people in.
Okay.
But I personally think that it's because if your book sales go really well on Tuesday, they have enough time to order new books for the weekend, which is exactly what's going to happen to us. Right?
For sure. Interesting.
Did you know a Barnes & Noble is closing by me?
I did not know there was one closing by you, but I had seen a story in the news about a Barnes & Noble closing, or some Barnes, and I thought, because they showed the empty bookshelves as they were selling down the product line, and I just thought,
I mean, that's
awful.
where we would just go hang out. My kids would meet there to do projects and stuff. But
that's heartbreaking.
I know. We're gonna have to open a bookstore.
Love to. It's actually,
and then we can celebrate book birthdays every Tuesday. Okay, Cathi, I know you've been busy up there editing Repent, getting your novel ready to query. I don't know. So, how does it feel to see that light at the end of the tunnel?
I'm certainly farther along than I have been since last time we talked. But I'm not quite at the querying stage yet. But I did send my book to an editor, and that's been a very interesting experience, to say the least.
No, or that's a whole nother podcast in itself.
Yeah,
that's so fascinating.
Yeah, it has. So it's just with her right now, and so we'll see. But it's funny, as I was getting ready to send it to her, I told her this. I had two different feelings. Initially, like a couple days before, I felt like that, and please tell me I'm not alone, but when you have a doctor's appointment coming up, like for a physical or something, and you're like, oh, I just wish I'd already lost that 10 pounds or 15 pounds. Right. And you haven't, and it's like, should I reschedule? Like, that's what I felt like, before I get a tune-up, And then the day, I sent it to her, I told her, I said, I feel like I'm sending you like a really naughty puppy that bites and scratches and jumps on everything. And I'm sending the puppy away to like one of those boarding and training facilities, where you can send your dog away for several...
such a good visual, Kathy.
That is what I felt. And this woman is lovely and had said to me that my puppy was in good hands, and she said, and by the way, who doesn't love a puppy? And I thought, that was very nice of her. But so it's been a strange feeling, but that's where I'm at. How about you?
Well, I'm living vicariously through you.
No, you had a short story submitted.
Yes, I submitted a short story. We'll see. That's always a nerve-wracking thing too. You edit, you think you got it good, and you're afraid to send the send button,
but you did it.
Done, and
you did it. You submitted. I did. That's great.
I did it. So
that's success.
Stay
right
tuned.
There. Yes, stay tuned.
So anyway, I think we're both doing pretty good, and I'm looking forward to getting up there and spending some time in South Dakota, which I've been to, but not to your place, and not in a long time, and not in the winter. So this is going to be a whole new experience.
I didn't realize you've been to South Dakota before.
Yes, I was. When I traveled the country by car, and I actually got stuck in South Dakota. My car broke down. So I was like between Sioux Falls and Sioux City.
And
Are
I
they
imagine
close to each other?
Yes, they are.
Yes, because I was like, the mechanic was in Sioux Falls, and his house was I actually ended up spending a couple days with the mechanic and his family.
That sounds like South Dakota.
I know. After staying in a hotel for some, then I was like, okay. But yeah, so I did spend, but it was in the summer, so it wasn't cold, and it was very nice. Everybody was very hospitable.
Yes.
And it was a long time ago. So I'm excited to get up and
I'm excited
and see
about
it in
that.
the winter.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And everyone is, as you say, very nice, very hospitable.
Yes. Good. So anyway, everybody must listen next week to our Corks and Conversation with Nina Sadowsky, the author of The Empty Bed that we just discussed. And it'll be fun.
Yeah, and then The Empty Bed is a great book club selection.
Right.
Yeah.
So go out and buy it. And then listen to us talk to Nina.
Right.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks to our mysterious foodies out there for listening and sharing. Check out our website, gameofbookspodcast.com, where you can find links to all we talk about. And if you subscribe to our weekly newsletter, you can get those links sent directly to you, along with any exciting updates. We are also on Facebook and Twitter under @GOBWriters.
And if you enjoyed this episode as much as we did, we would love to hear from you. And please subscribe to Game of Books wherever you listen to podcasts so you don't miss any of our book club ideas and Corks and Conversations with award-winning and best-selling authors.
That's all for today's episode of Game of Books Podcast, where we share food, wine, and mystery every Friday morning, just in time for the weekend.
This is Christy
and Kathy
saying thanks for listening.
Bye everybody.